Welcome back. I'm Bill Quinn. We're going to go into several areas in a number of the segments that explore some, we'll call them mysteries that have occurred during Trump's administrations, both the first one and all the way up to today. One of the things that we thought was particularly important to delve into were his executive orders. An executive order by the president is a written document which specifies under his abilities, under his authority given to him by our Constitution, he can enact certain things and define that they will be done on his signature. And so, what we're going to talk about today is very, very interesting. We're going to term it the case of the continuing executive orders. So back in September of 2018, Trump enacted an executive order numbered 13848, imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference in a United States election. And in fact, it went beyond that. So it's quite a lengthy executive order. We're going to give you some high points about it. So within the executive order, it defines that no later than 45 days following a United States election, the Director of National Intelligence is to produce an assessment indicating whether any foreign government acted with intent to influence the election and indeed created any influence in the election or undermined public confidence in the election. Now, think back to 2020. Was there a lack of public confidence in the outcome of the election? And I think most people would admit that there was indeed a concern in the public. Rasmussen and others reported that over the course of some months, as more and more information was brought to the foreground, as many as 65% of the voters in many states expressed concern about the outcome of the election and whether it in fact was accurate. So what happens next? Well, 45 days after the November 3rd, 2020 elections would have been December 18th, 2020. Just 2 days before that, Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, announced that he would not be on time delivering the requested assessment. He stated in that announcement that the other intelligence agencies, and there were 17 of them that were reporting to him, were unable to provide the necessary information. And so we saw this report from Bloomberg saying that spy chief, they called John Ratcliffe the spy chief, and he announced that he would not be on time in delivering this assessment. What happened, though, is just a couple days later, Ratcliffe to CBS and I think others confirmed that foreign interference had occurred. And I believe he named China. So here we see DNI John Ratcliffe tells CBS News there was foreign election interference. Keep in mind, this is still within days of when this formal assessment was done. But this was actually a public statement that was made, and you can see it in a number of different forms in that same time frame. So what did this do? What effect did this have? Well, go back to the executive order. It is triggered, or would be triggered, by a report indicating that, in fact, foreign interference had occurred, either to affect the actual election or to undermine public confidence. Was that public? Well, the public was told by John Ratcliffe that indeed foreign interference had occurred. So what are the implications of this? Well, the executive order calls for a number of sanctions, some of which are very all-encompassing. So, for example, the blocking and potential seizure of property by the foreign actors that would have been involved in this, and any people associated with those foreign actors or acting along with them to create this interference. So literally, property could be blocked taken control of, if you will, by the United States government in the event this was found to have occurred. We just got through talking about the fact that DNI John Ratcliffe reported that it had occurred. And so what would have been the result? Well, potentially property would have been blocked from movement or dispersal or anything else that could be done from it. The United States would have taken control of any property in its ability to, with regard to whatever foreign actor might have acted in this, regard. So all of that could have happened and may have happened back in 2020 and 2021. Now we talk about what happened subsequent to that is even more, we'll call it confusing for this time. So recall that Trump, as he left office in 2021, as coming up to January 20th, he elected not to attend Biden's inauguration. That was in and of itself a little unusual, but understandable perhaps. And he was claiming throughout that the election looked like it had been rigged. Then keep in mind, the original executive order was enacted in September of 2018. It would have expired following President Trump's departure from office. Well, in September of 2021, supposedly while Biden was the president, there was this amazing continuation of this national emergency with respect to foreign interference. How would this have been accomplished? Well, it had to be signed by the president to extend it. So in 2021, that executive order was extended. But even more strange, in 2022, it was extended again. Now, keep in mind, many theories were floating around at the time about foreign actors that might have influenced or, in fact, in some way controlled or managed the outcomes of the elections, and that they might have influenced the elections away from Trump and toward Biden. So in 2022, it was extended again. Then what happens? Well, in 2023, yet again, the same executive order is extended. And finally, in September of 2024, it's extended again. How could this be? Who within the Biden administration or Biden himself, why would they have extended an executive order that seems to support the conditions under which there may be dramatic questions regarding the outcome of the 2020 elections? Why would Biden continue Trump's executive orders is the net question, especially with regard to questions about election interference. We can't answer that today, but what we can do is point your attention to it and suggest that this, along with, we believe, 5, 6, or 7 other executive orders that would have expired following Trump's leaving the office back in 2021, would have expired, yet were extended under the Biden administration. Why? We don't know. But we will keep our eyes on this, and we recommend you do. Thanks for being with us. We will have more of these strange instances in future reports. Just look for mysteries of the Trump administration, and you'll be able to go through some of these along with us. Thank you so much.